Welcome to the fourth video on the lecture series for compressible fluid flow. In this, we will deal with the topic flow regimes. In the previous video, we saw that based on Mach number, the flow is classified into compressible flow and incompressible flow. We also discussed that with increasing Mach number, the flow behavior also changes, and because of this, the compressible flow is further classified as follows. Based on Mach number, the flow can be classified into incompressible flow, subsonic flow, transonic flow, supersonic flow, and hypersonic flow. In our class, we will focus on incompressible flow, subsonic flow, sonic flow, and supersonic flow. Now, before going into the physical difference between these flows, we have to understand that the flow through a medium or a flow of a source through a particular medium can be interpreted in two ways. That is, imagine that an aircraft is flying through the atmosphere. In this, the aircraft becomes a source of disturbance in the medium, which is the atmospheric air. Now, when the aircraft is moving with a certain velocity and the air is stationary, the same case can be interpreted in a different manner. That is, the aircraft is stationary and the air is moving with a velocity equal to the velocity of aircraft in the opposite direction. That is, we are just changing the frame of reference as we did in the case of derivation related to the equation for velocity of sound. In order to discuss the difference between the flow regimes, we can take either of the two approaches. In this case, we will be considering that the fluid medium is stationary and the source that causes the disturbance is moving through the medium. We will start with incompressible fluid flow. For an incompressible fluid flow, Mach number is less than 0.3. This means that velocity of the source is very small compared to the velocity of sound. C represents the velocity of the source and A represents the velocity of sound. So compared to the wavefront, the source covers a very small distance, because of which we can approximate the source is in the same position with respect to the wavefront. Keeping in this in mind, we move on to the next slide. In this slide, to understand the physical nature of incompressible flow, we will consider wavefronts developed by the point source at time t equal to 0 second, t equal to 1 second, t equal to 2 second, and t equal to 3 second. At t equal to 0 second, let the blue point represent the position of the point source, and the blue circle represents the wavefront that was created because of the disturbance created by the point source in the medium. After 1 second, the wavefront travels a distance equal to velocity of sound multiplied by time, that is equal to A multiplied by 1 second, which is represented by the larger blue circle. And the source moves and occupies a new position represented by the orange point. Since it is an incompressible flow, the distance covered by the point source is very less compared to that of the distance covered by the wavefront. So the history of the point sources appears to be closer to each other. Let the orange circle represent the wavefront that is developed by the source at time t equal to 1 second. After 2 seconds, the initially produced wavefront, that is the blue wavefront, would have traveled a distance equal to a into 2 seconds, that is 2a, that is 2a, represented by the larger blue circle, and the wavefront produced at time t equal to 1 second would have traveled a distance equal to 1 into a. Let the green point represent the position of the source at time t equal to 2 seconds, and the green circle represents the wavefront that is generated by the source at time t equal to 2 seconds. After 3 seconds, the wave initially produced travels a distance equal to 3a. The wave produced at time t equal to 1 second travels a distance equal to 2a, and the wave produced at 2 seconds will travel a distance equal to 1a, and the black point represents the new position of the source at time t equal to 3 seconds. The black circle represents the sound wave that is generated at time t equal to 3 seconds. From this we see that the wavefronts that are developed by the point source in an incompressible flow is of concentric nature. When it is in concentric nature, we can interpret the following things. That is, the sound waves are traveling in all directions with equal magnitude and of equal distance, because of which the effect of the sound wave in all directions are felt equally. So we can conclude as shown in this slide. That is, for an incompressible flow, Mach number is less than 0.3. The fluid velocity is very less than that of the velocity of sound. The wavefronts appears to be as concentric circles. From this, we interpret that the effect of sound waves created by the disturbance is felt equally in all directions in an incompressible fluid flow. Moving on to subsonic flow. In subsonic flow, the Mach number lies between 0.3 and 1. In this, the velocity of the source is comparatively higher, but it is still less than the velocity of sound. So it is c less than a. So the source will be covering a considerable amount of distance, but it will be still lagging behind the sound wave. Now let us consider the wave fronts that are developed at different time intervals as seen in the earlier case. At time t equal to 0 second, this is the position of the source and this is the wavefront generated. After 1 second, the wave travels a distance equal to 1 into a, whereas the point source covers a distance equal to c into 1. Now this is a considerable amount of distance, but it will still be behind the wavefront. The orange point represents the new position of the source and the orange circle represents the new wavefront. After 2 seconds, we will have the wavefront in this manner, and the source will be as highlighted by the green point. It will be still lagging behind the wavefronts. After 3 seconds, so the first wave, the second wave, the third wave, this is the position of our source after 3 seconds, and this is the wavefront developed after 3 seconds. You see that the wavefronts are not concentric like in the case of incompressible fluid flow. You see that the wavefronts have not traveled much distance downstream direction, and because of which the effect of the disturbance is not felt entirely in the downstream direction as it is received in the upstream direction. So we can conclude that for a subsonic flow, the Mach number lies between 0.3 and 1. The velocity of the source is comparatively higher but still lags behind the wavefront. So the history of wavefront shows that we don't have a concentric circles like the case of an incompressible flow. You see that the wavefronts are closer to each other in the downstream direction, and because of which the effect of the waves are not felt entirely uniformly in the downstream direction and the upstream direction. There is a delay in receiving the effects from the waves in the downstream direction compared to that of the upstream direction. But still, it is felt in all the regions surrounding the source. So this is slightly different from the incompressible fluid flow. Next, for sonic flow, in sonic flow, Mach number is equal to unity. This means that fluid velocity, or that is the velocity of the source, is equal to the velocity of the sound wave. So the distance traveled by the sound wave and the distance traveled by the point source will be the same. Now let us understand how it is getting represented from the time history of wavefronts. At time t equal to 0, this is the position of the source. This is the wavefront generated. After 1 second, the wavefront covers a certain amount of distance, and our point source also covers the same amount of distance. That means the point source travels along with the wavefront. This is the wavefront that is developed at t equal to 1 second. After 2 seconds, we see that the wavefronts take these positions and the source takes the position marked in green color. After 3 seconds, this is our first wave, our second wave, this is our third wave. This is the position of our point source, and this is the wave generated at time t equal to 3 seconds. You see that the waves are traveling at a particular velocity, it covers a certain distance, and our source is also covering the same distance because it is also moving with the same velocity. And because of this, the fluid particles lying downstream are not getting any information regarding the disturbance caused by the point source. The fluid particles downstream comes to know about the point source. That is, it feels the effect due to the waves at the same time as the source reaches that particular fluid particle. So this is the distance traveled, and we see that all the wavefronts are tangential to the point of the position of the point source. If you draw a tangential, it will be a straight line, and you see that the region downstream of the tangential hasn't received any information regarding the disturbance caused by the source, whereas on the other side, the entire fluid has been made aware or has felt the effect due to the disturbance created by the point source. This region where the effect is being felt is referred to as zone of action, and the region where the effect is not yet felt is referred to as zone of silence. The demarcation that separates zone of action and zone of silence is referred to as Mach wave or Mach light. Hence, we can conclude the following points regarding a sonic flow. For a sonic flow, Mach number is equal to 1, velocity of source is equal to velocity of sound. All the wavefronts are tangential to the point source. You see that the effect of the sound waves are not felt downstream of the point source, and the region is referred to as zone of silence. And the region where the effect of sound waves are felt is referred to as zone of action. Now let's discuss about supersonic flow. In the supersonic flow, the Mach number is greater than 1. That means the source is moving with a velocity greater than the velocity of sound. So for a given time, the distance covered by the source is greater than the distance traveled by the sound wave. Hence, all the wavefronts will lag behind the source. Let's see the time history of the wavefronts. At time t equal to 0 second, let this be the position of the source and the wavefront that is generated by the source. After 1 second, this will be our wavefront, but since the velocity of our source is greater than the velocity of the wave, it would have moved a greater distance. So the wave will be lagging behind the source. This is the wavefront generated at time t equal to 1 second. At t equal to 2 seconds, this is the first wave, this is the second wave, and this is the position of our source, and this is the wave generated at time t equal to 2 seconds. After 3 seconds, this will be our first wave, this is our second wave, the third wave, position of our source after 3 seconds, and this is the wave that is developed after 3 seconds. We can see that the effect of the sound waves are felt in a very small region upstream of the flow, and the regions downstream of the flow has not felt any effect of the wavefront. If you draw a tangent to these circles starting from the point source, we get a conical region. The region inside the cone has felt the effect of the sound wave, and the region outside the cone has yet to receive any information or any effect because of the disturbance created by the point source. In this case, the fluid particle downstream will first face the source, only after that it will feel the effect of sound waves that was created by the source. This conical region is represented as Mach cone. The region inside the Mach cone is known as zone of action, and the region lying outside the Mach cone is referred to as zone of silence. So we can conclude for supersonic flow with the following points. Mach number is greater than 1, so velocity of the source is greater than velocity of sound. All the wavefronts are lagging behind the source. The region where the effect is felt is a conical region, which is known as Mach cone. The region where the effect is felt is known as zone of action, and the region where the effect is not felt is known as the zone of silence. The semi-vertical angle of this Mach cone is referred to as Mach angle, and the demarcation that separates zone of silence and zone of action, which is the generator of the Mach cone, is known as Mach line. Hence, in a supersonic flow, we come up with the following terms. Zone of action is the region which is influenced by the sound waves produced by the disturbance in flow field. Zone of silence is the region which is not yet influenced by the sound waves produced by the disturbance in the flow field. Mach cone is the zone of action which is actually in a conical shape. The semi-vertical angle of this Mach cone gives Mach angle. The demarcation that separates the zone of action from zone of silence is known as Mach wave. It can be found out that the semi-vertical angle of the Mach cone, that is the Mach angle, is equal to sine inverse 1 by Mach number, which means that as the Mach angle decreases, the Mach number value increases. Or in another way, as the Mach number increases, the Mach angle value decreases. That means the zone of action gets reduced. So at flow velocities of greater Mach number, that is for hypersonic flows, the Mach number value is very high. For such flows, we will still have zone of action and zone of silence, but the region coming under zone of action will be very less because the Mach angle will be less for such flow cases. Next, we come upon von Karman's rules for supersonic flow. The first rule is called the rule of forbidden signals. This basically talks about the zone of silence. It says that the effect of pressure change produced by a body moving at a speed faster than the sound cannot reach points ahead of the body. Rule 2 is known as zone of action and zone of silence. It says that a moving body in a stationary stream produces effects on points that lies in or on the Mach cone, extending downstream from the point source, which is referred to as the zone of action, and all the region outside this is referred to as zone of silence. Rule 3 is known as rule of concentrated action. It says that the pressure waves, if they are closer to each other, it is a measure of intensity of pressure difference at each point in the flow field. That is, if the waves are much closer to each other, that means they are very stronger in that particular region. In zone of action, we see that the sound waves generated by the point disturbance intersect with each other. Because of this, the pressure waves are much stronger in these regions. And hence, when such pressure waves falls into our ears, instead of hearing a sound, we are subjected to a high annoying noise. And this noise, which is created by a body moving at supersonic speed, is known as sonic boom.